Morning, I'm Jane Hedley. I'm Racing Operations Manager here at Leopardstown. I get in between sort of 7 and past most mornings. The first job we do is walk the course. My trusty assistant here comes with me. So this morning it is Wednesday, week of Dublin Racing Festival. So we had final entries and forfeits yesterday. We'll have declarations tomorrow morning. We had quite a lot of rain on Monday, but dry day yesterday. So walking it this morning, it has dried up a bit. We've called the going soft to heavy in places on the hurdle track, and yielding to soft in places on the chase track for today. So after walking the track, what I did was check in with Lorcan, our clerk of the course, just to update him on conditions, and then I checked the updated weather forecasts. Then I sent a text through to the IHRB with the updated going reports. I then emailed that same report round my colleagues in the team. So that information within the space of 5 minutes is out on all the websites and has been sent to all the trainers. I then come into the office, get changed, have a bit of breakfast and settle myself down at the desk for the rest of the day. This morning I've just signed off a round of invoices. There's a payment run goes out on a Wednesday. So done that to make sure everyone's getting their money. We just had a little issue with race names there on the various racing post sites. They hadn't been refreshed, so we're just going to chase those up, make sure those are all right. So I guess it's pretty much day-to-day normal office admin from here on in. I'm dealing with everything from race planning things, what are our race orders, times, TV, what's going to be covered by ITV, RTE, where is everybody going to be, have they got rooms to do their briefings, have they got... Basically, as operations manager, you're making sure everybody has what they need to do their job and deliver the race day. Like most horsey children, I wanted to be a vet, and I grew up on a hill farm in Scotland, so my whole early life was just completely obsessed with animals. However, sort of mid-teens, I got dragged into racing. And as we all know, it is a bug. So I ended up doing far too much riding and not enough studying, and didn't manage to get into vet school. So I went and did a broad brush agric business management degree in Edinburgh. But as soon as I finished that, I headed south, worked for trainers for the best part of 15 years. I suppose my ambition at that stage was to be someone's assistant trainer eventually, but I was fairly handy on the ground and on a horse, so I ended up spending most of my time riding out. I didn't get to go racing very much, annoyingly. I spent a summer on the Curragh with Kevin Prendergast way back in the day. I did 6 months with Henrietta Knight. I had a year with Alan King. I was in Newmarket for 3 years, where I was actually doing an office job. I was doing marketing and nominations for Shadwell at that point. Writing out for Mr. Haggis, which was great, and that was the sort of first time I spent a good period of time in a flat yard, and got to sit on some really serious horses there. The one that always sticks in my mind is a lovely big filly called Chorist. She was quite special. And from there I went back north and worked for Mark Johnson. I was there for 6 years as one of his yard managers, which was a great experience, very sharp learning curve. Made a man of me. And I was starting to look for a change. I was at that point in life where I thought I either accept that this is my destiny and stay here forever, or I think about doing something else. So I was getting itchy feet, walking the box, and I'd actually won a trip to Dubai. And it was when I was over there I spotted an advert for a trainee clerk of the course role, and it just got me thinking, and I thought about it, and I thought, well, actually that might be worth throwing my hat in the ring for. And I got it, and so I spent 9 or 10 years with Jockey Club racecourses. I started off with Nottingham and Market Rasen and moved on to Nottingham and Warwick. The first female clerk of the course, I believe, was in the 80s, a lady called Morag Gray. She was the first one, but there is quite a lot of them now. At one point, all the Scottish clerks were ladies. There was Harriet Graham, Hazel Plinsky, Fiona Needham at Catterick, and I won't try and list all of them, but there is a good handful. I'd say probably 9 or 10 now, maybe even more than that. And leading the pack, obviously, is Suleika Varma, who is clerk of the course / head of racing at Aintree. So in Ireland, it's much less common to have ladies in this type of role, or the clerk of the course role. Tracy O'Mara was in that position for a few years, but she's just returned to the UK and she's gone to Fosslas, I believe. So this is us in our weighing room at Leopardstown. Cleaners have been in, as you can see, chairs up. But Lorcan will sit in that back corner. We'll have various other IHRB officials in there. The room through behind is where the stewards do all their work. This is obviously the scales, where your clerk of the scales will sit. And here we have the number cloths, nicely laundered and delivered. But just to show you, this is, you probably know that we're doing the sectional timing here now. So the little GPS trackers just go into these little pockets in the number cloths, and send all that data, that good stuff, all that data back for the sectional timing gurus. So this is the room that you very rarely see, and most people don't want to see, to be honest. If you're in here, it's generally not a good thing. So this is the steward's room. You'll have the honorary stewards who work in here, and also the stipendiary stewards, who are the professional stewards. As you can see, they have a good bank of televisions that's showing them the racing from all angles, so that they can see exactly what's going on, and if they spot anything of concern, they will call people in here to have a chat with them and find out what was going on. This, believe it or not, is the male jockey's changing room. We love the colour scheme in here. We provide the towels that you see sitting around the place. We deliberately went for a shocking pink in the hope that people don't take them home with them. But no, it's a really good functional room. Obviously these benches in the middle, that's where your valets work and do all their cleaning and polishing and sorting everyone out, and then the jockeys themselves generally sit around the outside. Down the end there we have a canteen area. So this kitchen counter can serve to both sides, so the male jockeys can come down this side and have their food within their room. Lady jockeys are able to access from the other side, so they don't actually have to come in here. And we also, there's a room there, we call it the trainer's tea room, so they use that as a little sort of quiet space. If we just go through here, in the middle of the two sets of changing rooms, this is a kind of valets area where we have washing machines, tumble dryers, good old-fashioned twin tubs, Looks like that one's in need of a bit of attention. Anyhow, they love these twin tubs because they don't take as long as a normal washing machine. So this is where the valets do their thing. Through here into lady jockeys. Slightly smaller, not quite so bright, but still a nice area for them. So in both changing rooms we have a little set of trial scales just so that the valets can sort the jockeys out and, you know, do all their adjustments so that hopefully when they hit the main scales outside they're ready to go. We come down here and this is the medical room. Lights will come on, there we go. Yeah, so the medical team operate from here. We've got one room there, another here. And then behind us is the physio room. So we'll have a physio in there most race days for jockeys to use as and when they need to. And just to finish off our little tour of the weighing room building, on this side of what is the jockey's canteen, you'll see this is the trainer's tea room. And as I say, lady jockeys can also access the canteen through there. And here we have the press room. So it's all very neat and compact and functional for everyone who's sort of doing their job here at Leopardstown. It's got some work in progress going on here. We're putting up some wet weather cover for our racing TV team. So we're into areas that will be much more familiar to people now. You see plenty of this area on TV. In terms of what my team's input into this, Niall has just been putting in a bit of colour into the bed in there. We've got some pansies to brighten things up ahead of the weekend. So we did a bit of a rejig on our parade ring and our pre-parade ring. We were finding since the redevelopment sort of 5 or 6 years ago that the pre-parade ring flow from pre-parade ring to parade ring and out again, it was just a bit of a bottleneck, and particularly post-race the unsaddling area was quite tight. So we took out a big chunk of fencing here and just opened the whole area up, and we're quite pleased with the way it's worked. The feedback's been quite good. So we might do a few more tweaks here and there just to try and make this area wider again, but for now it's definitely an improvement. This is our pre-parade ring and saddling boxes. It's a lovely area with all these lovely old trees and the very natural wood chip surfacing, and the boxes themselves are obviously beautiful. It is really hard work to look after, as you can see with the wind and whatnot that we've had recently. There's pine cones and branches and all sorts everywhere, but Niall and his team will have a really good clear up on Friday just to make sure it's ship shape ahead of race day. Stable staff viewing ramp, we had to make some changes here since Christmas. This lawn got very badly damaged with vehicles and foot traffic when it was very wet at Christmas, so we've had to do quite a bit of work on that and overseed it, and there's quite a lot of temporary infrastructure comes in for our bigger race days. So this is an overflow press tent, and then we have a camera viewing platform here as well. So quite a lot going on in this corner, and because it was so muddy here, we've had to put in this new path from the groom's gate up to their viewing platform. But they've got a great spot here. The big screen will be in front of them, and they can see everything from here, and then they're handy to go and pick up the horses after the race. It is very, very windy out here, so I hope you can hear me, but we're now on track. Where I'm stood right now is hurdle track for Saturday. You see the bare posts in here. That is ready to go hurdle track for Sunday. So on Saturday night we'll have a team of people who will come and move this rail, literally drop it back onto those bare posts. Hurdle track day 1 is set 25 yards from the very innermost line, and then for day 2 we drop in 5 yards So we'll be 20 yards out from the innermost line on day 2. These are 2 fresh strips of ground that we've saved in between the Christmas hurdle lines. And then the chase track stays pretty much in the same place, albeit we've pushed the bends out 4 yards. So the chase track on the outside. As I said earlier, we've had a nice drop of rain over the last couple of weeks, so we're currently in a really nice place, which is yielding to soft largely on the chase course and soft largely on the hurdle track. We might get a shower this afternoon, but we're not expecting a huge amount more rain between now and the weekend. So horses, lorries approach the track completely different way from the public. They come in the far side through what we call Fox Rock, over the Fox Rock crossing. They come up and they park in this area and they unload using these specially made loading bays. We're in the stables now. The gates that we just came through will be absolutely controlled by the IHRB security team. This whole area comes under IHRB control as of 4 hours before racing. So everyone that comes through those gates will have to sign in with that team, show their stables pass, and all horses will have their microchips checked so that we know the right horses are coming into the yard. This is a yard that we keep for overnight horses, overnight visitors. So the English runners that are coming in on Friday, they will go into this yard. There's the stable staff canteen, which will be very busy on a race day. Trevor of Coles Catering does a great job looking after everyone in there. Next is the veterinary area, and then there's the sample unit where all your post-race testing will happen. Stables themselves, we have 138. You have to have a box for every runner. You may not take more runners than what you have boxes for. So 138, we've got pretty ample, although there can be some busy days in the summer where we have upwards of 100 runners and might also have some gallopers after racing. Those sorts of days, most boxes would be used. People sign into their boxes in the stable manager's office. They get their stable allocation from there. So that we keep a record of all of that. We know who's been in which box on which fixture. Obviously we've got the CCTV throughout the yard as well. So here we have a stable that is race day ready. This is one of the boxes that we've had the rubber floors put into. These are working really well. They make them a lot easier to clean out and make really hygienic. Plus the comfort of the rubber surface means we need to use slightly less shavings than we would do on a concrete floor. You still need a few shavings because obviously horses like to have something to wee on so it doesn't splash, but we don't need to use quite so much shavings as we would on concrete. We're out the back of the stables now. This is an area that we sort of mocked up, a kind of trial area as a trot up area. So Willie popped up this rail and we put a gravel surface in. It's actually working quite well, so we're going to improve it and make it permanent. So there'll be a rubber surface go down on the floor here. We'll also put rubber along the walls, and we're actually going to create a new small gate so that we can have a one-way system. So when they come to trot up, they'll come out the back gate, having been checked in through the stables, they'll come out of that back gate under the supervision of the vets that are watching them trot up. They'll have a trot up here and then they'll go back in through a gate which will take them in just next to the sample unit there. So it'll be a nice one-way flow for them, and you know, this is quite a nice quiet area on a race day when it's not this windy. Yeah, so here we are properly back of house. This is very much the engine room of the track. Lads here are just clearing up some waste birch to take away. In here is the shed where we build our hurdles. This is where we store our birch bundles, usually a little bit more neatly than this. However, obviously they're very much being used at the moment. So that's how your birch arrives. It comes in bundles like that. I think they're about $4.50 a bundle at the moment, but it is increasingly difficult to get your hands on good quality birch. So yeah, it is getting to be quite a pricey commodity. We're in one of our machinery sheds. We have 2 lovely big sheds like this for keeping all our kit. We have 3 frontline tractors. This is one of them. That would be our main workhorse. That would take all the mowing equipment. The verti-drainer is currently hooked up to it. We use that a lot for aeration throughout the year. We then have 2 ground staff gators just for transport around the place. We have an old van that we also use, and 2 trucks with the flatbed backs for the track foreman, and they'll use them to follow racing on race day and carry screens and such like. Also in here we have the stalls.
We had a good few people threading back in straight after racing, the early days of January, and when the ground did dry out, because it was wet, we managed to get a roll on it. We'd settled it down lovely, and then it has been verti-drained quite a number of times. The whole track has been verti-drained at least twice. That has added to the settling down process. It's really good for this time of the year, and the amount of traffic at Christmas time, it couldn't be much better. Puddles are going out at the moment, so the guys will start putting them up tomorrow. You wouldn't have them out in the elements. You keep them out of the elements for as long as you possibly can. And wind as well. It's essentially just, it's one of those jobs that's always best done just in time at the last minute. Process for fences is they pretty much go out onto the track after Champions Days. They're portable units, you know, so they're not out there during the summertime. So once September's over, we're starting to plan for Christmas. We started planning before that. As you're well aware, we don't have our own people on site now anymore, cutting them and shaping them. So I generally start putting them out around October, November. They're set into position. We will rebuild 3 fences every season. So some years we might build 4 fences, we've got 10 in a circuit. So this year we actually built 4 fences. They were put out, cut and shaped and let ready to go. The 2 regulations, one at Foxrock, one at Silver Park, we decided to change the aprons on that. We've gone away from the natural gorse apron, which we've had here for years. And we've gone now with an artificial Leylande, supplied by EasyFix. First year in, looks very well, worked well, no comments back, and that's always a positive comment.
So I hope you've enjoyed your behind the scenes tour of Leopardstown Racecourse. We are set fair for what looks to be a fantastic weekend. We're sold out in hospitality. We do have some general admission tickets left. We really advise people to book those online, but they will be available on the gate on the day as well. We expect around about 18,000 people both days. It's going to be a fantastic weekend. Look forward to seeing you all there.